I watch Hello Okanagan from Tofino, BC.
Hey guys, support our show by buying some of this beautiful merch. Our towns, every single town in the Okanagan is in here.
Hey Peter.
Yes.
We're outside in the hot weather today.
We got a little bit of
Thank goodness
clouds.
for the clouds,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
What are we doing today?
We're gonna go for a long jaunt. We're gonna walk around downtown Vernon. We're gonna check out these murals. We're gonna do an actual mural tour. And I'm new to the area. I mean, 3 years, but still kind of new. And I've driven by them, but never knew the stories about them. So follow us on this episode. We're gonna explore the lives and times of individuals whose faces grace our city walls in downtown Vernon.
Great individuals of history like Peter.
So we have the diversity of Vernon. At one time, we had the third largest Chinatown in Canada. The people you see on the left side are the Kwongs. And they worked for a fellow named S.C. Smith, who was the big land baron, lumber baron here. And the person next to him is Larry Kwong, who was the very first non-white guy to play in the NHL.
Or what years did he play in the NHL?
In the 20s or 30s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because he, like he said, he was quite old and he died just about maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
And as you go across, you see all the different diversities. The people in the middle are the Melishes, who started Swan Lake Nursery up there in the fruit stand. They started out by just selling fruit, and every spring, summer, they would drag their stand up to the highway, open the gate, and sell fruit. And that's what Swan Lake has turned into. And then the very end is Pierre Trudeau, dressed up as a native.
So Larry, tell us about the clock. Can we go up there?
No. The really important thing about the clock is the mechanism of it, which was taken down when they took the top off the City Hall and Fire Hall, and they lost it for quite a few years. They found it eventually over at O'Keefe Ranch, and today it's in the museum, and it works. They crank it up once in a while. You can see the mechanism work there. Yeah. What we have here is a facade that doesn't really ever work.
It does sometimes. And
well, sometimes. Oftentimes it's right just twice a day.
We're filling the time now.
It looks correct on this side at least, right?
Oh, perfect.
There's
you
four
have
sides, so you
to
never
choose
know.
from. Yeah, that's right.
If the other one's right, I should either be in bed or having lunch.
Is this AM or PM? Just joking. Okay, let's check out another mural. Let's go check another mural.
Right here is a mural depicting a world-famous potter, Axel Ebring. Axel Ebring came from Sweden and immigrated over to Salmon Arm. He ran out of clay in Salmon Arm. Not a very good place for clay or potting. And I think it was Middleton knew him and said, why don't you come to Vernon? We've got tons of clay. So he came to here. You know where Pottery Road is?
Yeah.
We have a Pottery Road. His old studio was on Pottery Road. He came up here and started doing world-famous pottery.
And the clay now, because when I moved here a few years ago, someone told me, or is this true here, East Hill, the hill is actually made out of clay.
It's all clay up there. In fact, some buildings that were built up there were condemned by the city because when clay gets hot, cold, wet, and dry, starts to move, and houses were walking.
And I have friends that tell me that at least once or twice a year, they'll see a new crack in the house somewhere.
The doors won't open one way, they won't close the other way.
Yeah.
And that's because of clay.
And that's the majority of the clay that he obviously
And the Okanagan is actually quite noted for a lot of clay. If you go down as far down to Penticton, all those big bluffs you see by Okanagan Lake, it's all clay. It's all solid clay. Yeah.
That is really cool. Welcome back, everyone. We just got to another mural here with Larry. Larry, so where are we now?
We're right in front of the Zveva Kitani mural, and interestingly enough, Michelle Lockery, who started the whole mural tour, or actually making the murals, was a student of Zveva Kitani. Zveva came over from Italy in about 1931, roughly. Because of Mussolini and that sort of stuff. Her father, who was a count, they were, let's get out of here because this could be a problem. So they moved to the Kitani house, which is on on Pleasant Valley Road.
Center.
Yeah. And anyway, there's actually a documentary about her, which was called Prisoner of Vernon. And when she came over here, her parents were like, his mom didn't speak any English, all Italian. He would go back and forth all the time to Italy because he was a count over there. So anyway, he eventually died when Zveva was 18, and her mother imprisoned her in the house that's on Pleasant Valley.
Really?
Yeah, she couldn't go out of the house for many years until the doctor finally convinced the mom that she had to get some sunlight. So she got to go in the yard, and once in a while come to town with her governess. When her mother died, Zveva was free.
And what's that like ghost angel thing up there?
Well, Zveva, as you can imagine, was pissed. Like she did not like being locked up for that long. And when she was free, all the rage and upset and mad she was came out in her painting. She's got a set of 12 that is quite world famous, actually, and the reds and vibrant colors just show how upset
The energy coming out of
she's
her.
finally free, and she's going to vent through her art.
Wonderful. Well, let's go to the next one.
I don't even know if I can.
Hey, buddy, see what happens in between mural stops? There's fun things to do here in Vernon.
I'll say.
This one here is an interesting one, and it really points up how women have been a huge part of the Okanagan Valley. The lady there depicted, Alice Parks, had a diary, and her husband was the magistrate. He was kind of everything government, and she traveled with him. So up and down the whole valley, and she would keep copious amounts of notes. In fact, all of her diary is in a book called Conversations with a Duchess, and you can buy it at the museum, and it tells all about what life was like in the Okanagan Valley at the turn of the century. So once again, we talk about how important the women of the valley were.
Yes.
We had Catherine Schubert, the Schubert Center. We have Agnes Sovereign, who started the People Place here in town. Husband was...
It's funny, every name that you're throwing out, and as a newbie too, I've heard of those names somewhere in town.
Oh, yeah,
Now it's making all sense here.
So, and like I said, there was a great many women, and when you come on the Mural Tour, you can see the effect all these women had in the valley.
I've had a few people come in and tell me all those kinds of restaurant jokes. So one of my favorites was, "Oh, the restaurant business is a great way to make a small fortune. You go in with a big fortune, you come out with a small one."
And actually, back there, you can just see that's the mural of our first two fire chiefs in Vernon. Now, the fire brigade was started in 1892, which was a year before Vernon became a city. So in 1893, Vernon was a city, and the building that you see in there was the City Hall and Fire Hall, and that's where the clock came from.
Oh, okay. Huh. So every time I drive by here, I notice these two buildings. Are they some of the older buildings here in town?
Okay, we're standing actually right in front of the original train station in Vernon, and this is the train station that the troops left to World War I, World War II. It was a main center here. The building to the north of us is an actual copy of the actual train station. So it's a new building. There's a family practice, there's a restaurant in there.
Yes.
But this is the original station, and as we go further, there's of course a coffee and pastry place, but it leads us right to a mural of the S&O Railway, the Sicamous and Okanagan Railway. C.E. Edwards was the originator of this railway. It was one of the rare railways that was built without any gunpowder or any blasting. It was all done by hand. The funny part about this railway is they used to call it the molasses special because people said that they could walk faster than this train could go.
Kind of like Peter when he runs.
Well, I haven't seen Peter run yet unless it's a call for beer.
We'll get you your new nickname, the Molasses Express.
I run faster scared than mad. So we're down on 30th right now, and these are alleys that a lot of people probably just cross through and don't even give it a second look.
Absolutely.
I notice there's a mural here. Let's walk over to it and give us some info.
Yeah, when you go on the mural tours, you discover so many more because a lot of them are tucked down alleys like this one. This particular one is about Dr. Reinhard, who was really ahead of his time in a lot of ways because he believed in standard medicine, but also in nourishment. As you can see from here, it depicts his garden, and he would treat someone with normal medicine and then say, go out there and get some beets or some carrots and add that to your meal. Just don't eat beef all the time. Have a nice balanced meal.
Oh, a nice holistic approach, yeah.
Exactly. And so he came over here, he had 3 children, and his wife died. So his sister-in-law came from Germany, and he then moved up to Barkerville because it wasn't proper to be in the house with an unmarried woman. He was up in Barkerville for 3 years, came back here, married the sister-in-law, and we're
Take
here.
a closer look here.
Yes, and we're here for a number of years. Then they moved up to Bella Coola, and he died in I think around the mid-50s someplace in, I think it was Prince George, but fascinating guy. And then down on the other side, down the other alley, you'll see a mural about the Indian motorcycle dealership that was here.
Oh, when was this?
Oh, that was in the 20s and 30s when Indian was first starting.
Wow.
Brother McGaw, because he was a member of our lodge too, and he had several businesses, very successful businessman until the 30s when it hit a lot of people hard. And so you can see on that mural over there, you will be able to see it, is the Indian motorcycle, and it was the latest. It was like, it made Harley look sad back in the 20s and 30s. In fact, there was more Indian motorcycles used in the Second World War than Harleys. And
they were used in the war too, weren't they?
oh yeah, they had they dispatched riders and that sort of thing using Harleys and using Indians over there. It's an amazing story, yeah. Okay. And when he went broke, he actually went to work for S.C. Smith, the same fellow who, the Kwongs that were there. Kwongs worked for S.C. Smith. McGaw then worked for S.C. Smith, and you know where the music school is?
Yes.
That was S.C. Smith's house, and he built that. But just as he got it built, his wife passed away, so he never really enjoyed the house.
David, you and I love movies. We always talk about the Marvel movies and everything. I'm embarrassed to say I haven't been to this theater yet. Have you seen anything in this old theater?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a great theater, 400 seats. Obviously less capacity now, but it's absolutely wonderful. Great experience. Really takes you back in time.
I love this old building. It's obviously a movie theater and a couple of businesses in front. Do you know the history of this building at all? And I think it's like Egyptian motif in the front or something.
Well, it was sort of neoclassical of the 30s, or Art Deco, I guess is probably the way to look at it. Okay. Previously, the very first theater that was there was the Empress, which was built in the 1890s. Well, when the city became a city, they had to have a theater, and it incidentally it was the only place that actually had electric lights in the whole town was the Empress Theater. Wow. But this was built in the 30s, the Art Deco theme, as you can see. Has an original size screen, which is wonderful. Like compared to the chopped up theaters that we get today, this has a complete screen that you can really enjoy more of an epic movie. You get enveloped by the screen. Yes, okay. That's right. At one time, when it was first built, it's got a stage as well as a screen, and it was vaudeville and burlesque and that sort of thing. And the two hotels that were here, the National and the Cal, which now is like missing a top floor, but it's still the original hotel from 1893. Yeah. There was a tunnel underneath so that performers could go from the hotels they were staying at, go down underneath, and come up in the theater. Yeah. Is this because of Prohibition and they were like trying to smuggle booze around? I'm just joking. No, wouldn't be that. No, but it was basically for the performers. So they didn't have to walk through the crowd, or they didn't have to go on the street. Yeah. Which now, in the last 40, 50 years, when you build a hotel, you have secret exits and you have an extra elevator for celebrities so you can get them down to the limousine and out of the way before the fans even get a whiff of them. Wonderful. Let's keep going. So we're here on the corner of 30 and 30, and we're not even halfway through a regular mural tour, but because we need to visit some other local areas in downtown Vernon, we're going to end our tour here. But I have a good question about this building behind us. Was it a hotel back in the day? Yes, it's been there since 1893. When the city itself became a city, the Cal Hotel was there. They had tennis courts in behind. It was a real focal point. Interesting history on it. And actually, if you go to the Cal and get maybe wings or a beer, there's a lot of that information is in the hotel. Well, thank you so much for the tour, Larry. My pleasure.
Thank you, Larry. Yeah. That was I love a good history lesson.
And you guys, if you're ever in Vernon, go on Facebook or the website in Downtown Vernon Association or the museum and check out Vernon Mural Tours.
And you might be as lucky as us and get Larry as your tour guide.
Hello Okanagan, we're here with Heather Sharp. She's going to take us on the next part of the tour, and we're going to be discussing all the really cool businesses that are in the downtown Vernon area.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of getting hungry. He always makes fun of me. But I know a lot of the businesses are open 9 to 5 or they have extended hours as well, but this is a family-oriented area, and there is a lot of places where you can bring your family, or just adults can go and have a pint and a burger or something. And you want to let us know some of the businesses that you like that are restaurants?
Absolutely. Like, that's the major part of downtown Vernon, is that it's open for everybody. And yes, we have some great boutique stores that you can check out. All of our services and restaurants are open. But come down for date night. Yeah. Like, even when the shops close up after 4 o'clock and maybe you're done your shop and you've had your coffee and now it's time to kick back a little, check out our restaurants. Like, we've got the Martin Brew Pub here, the historic Cal across the street is open. Yeah. Some great restaurants, the Med, the Italian Kitchen. Like, there's so many great places to come in the fresh air and walk and visit and bring your date down, grab some ice cream.
My wife and I love it. I mean, we've been to the Med. I mean, David and I actually were at the Med ourselves.
Yeah, we got
Italian Kitchen, and you were saying a Midtown Bistro.
Yeah.
The Cal is obviously famous and an awesome place to go to.
Absolutely.
And then the guy's right behind us, Martin.
Yeah.
And lots of diversity in cuisine as well. Like, I mean, you've got a little bit of everything on these few blocks over here. Now,
Greek, Mexican, everything, sushi, Chinese, what do you want? It's all here in downtown.
And there's even a small little place called the Fig Bistro, I heard.
I hear they have some of the best charcuterie platters in the city, hands down. Do you think that's true?
And they make amazing cinnamon buns. Let's take a walk. Hey everyone, we're right in front of a good friend of ours, Midtown Bistro. So Heather, you want to let us know a little bit more about the other businesses that are down here?
Well, absolutely. The restaurants are open with care and managing patios and sitting out here in the fresh air. And Midtown Bistro's been doing an awesome job with their food and their drinks here for summer.
And you want to tell us about the market? I love the market across the street.
Absolutely. The market at 3023 has some of the most bespoke little crafts, little fashions, some great gift items, all made locally. So if you're downtown, you got to check those out too.
and why don't you tell us a little bit more about the, you mentioned it briefly just there, the hashtag Open with Care.
Wonderful. I would love to tell you about that, David, because what Downtown Vernon is really excited about is that our businesses are hashtag open with care, which means
look at these two hipsters.
which means we are taking care in order to be safe, hygienic, making sure our guests and our employees are all adhering to the work safe as well as provincial health requirements. So you can feel safe to come down to Downtown Vernon and visit with care because we are hashtag open with care.
Well, speaking of which, let's continue the journey.
You got it.
Thank you.
Make sure I wiggle while I'm up.
Wow. 1912. Could have got this baby for $7,000 back in 1912.
You know what I can use right now is a gelato.
I bet you could.
Yeah.
Sweet Hoopla has the best gelato in downtown Vernon.
And we're here.
Check it out. Then
Let's
they've
go
got
inside.
A great patio you can sit on too.
Let's go check it out.
Open with care. Check that out.
Oh man.
I know.
I feel like I'm back in Italy.
Oh no.
Cream, Snickers.
That's dangerous.
Oh, I'll sample some of your Oreo cream.
Make that too.
You know what I love right here? It looks like a picture frame and you're the painting. You're like the Mona
You're the
Lisa.
artist.
You're the Mona Lisa.
Thank you for watching Hello Okanagan. Make sure you guys
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.